Well, I have to bring in our 360 view. On Trump's trip to the UK, we turn into our political panel. Former Georgia State Representative Dee Dawkins Haigler and conservative commentator Andrea Kaye. Now, ladies, I have to say, we are going to talk about Melania's fashion, but we'll save that to the end. Let's get to some actual policy first. I'm going to start with you, Dee, and we have to discuss the white dress. Was it rude, do you think, for the princess or Prince Harry not to attend the state dinner last night, considering it was the President of the United States and his family at the dinner?
No, actually, I don't think it was at all. Just keep in mind that the president did call the Duchess of Sussex a nasty woman. Not to mention she just gave birth. She really doesn't have time to go and sit and entertain. I know as I gave birth to each one of my 4 children, I wasn't even up for entertaining people. I wanted to go someplace, sit down, and try to catch a nap anytime that I could. So I just think we need to realize that she did just give birth. I mean, really, she did.
And that's right. And she was on maternity leave, but also the prince didn't attend. But you know what? I believe fathers should be right by that bassinet as much as mothers should be. But you brought up a good point there about the nasty woman. Andrea, and I'll let you respond to this one. You know, the claim that President Trump called her nasty went back and forth whether he was actually, that was a claim directly at her. But either way, wasn't nasty in the 2016 campaign turned from an adjective to an adverb that most liberal women embrace, saying, call me that name, fine. We're proud, nasty women. I happen to remember a certain Hollywood actress saying that. So was he, if he did call, if that was his intention, was to say that, was that really an insult, or was he just putting her into a category that a lot of liberal women are very happy to be in?
Yeah, absolutely. And why is it that we're discussing a man as though he does not have the right to respond to a woman who's criticized him? I think it's actually demeaning and minimizes Meghan Markle to assume that she can't take any criticism from somebody with whom she's criticized. And quite honestly, I don't think she nor the spare were missed at the dinner last night. Remember, we had, under Princess Diana, we had the heir and the spare. So I don't think anybody missed him. We certainly had the contingent of Trump's family there. And I just have to say that I find it absolutely outrageous and insulting to the United States of America for the way that our president has been treated there. As the Queen so eloquently talked about last night, in which she said that a visit from the President of the United States, who was invited, by the way, that it's a reminder to the Brits and to the country as to the allegiance and the alliance going back so many decades. He is there in advance of the 75th anniversary of D-Day. And quite frankly, the only sign or blimp that should have been flown above London should have been thank you, United States of America and President Trump, for saving our bangers and mash from the Nazis.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because you do bring up the protesters. I'm going to bring this back to you, Dee, because the president in his press conference said, I've only seen supporters. There's no protesters, which also kind of reminds me of the inaugural crowds. It's like, why does he kind of make these very obvious mistakes that we can go, no, we do see the pictures of the protesters that are in the streets? Why does President Trump continue to say these things, kind of just giving fodder to those that are against him, saying, you're not right?
Because he can't help himself. He is a habitual liar, and that's what liars do. They lie. And so the real irony in all of this is we were over there celebrating, supposed to be celebrating something, but the entire world now is looking at our president like he is a big baby in a pamper or sitting on a toilet with his iPhone, with his smartphone, because we have lost our moral authority in the world. We used to be the nation that everyone looked to for guidance and to be the bigger player at the table, but now people are looking at us like we are the mockery of the world. And let me be clear, they're not upset with the United States of America, which the United States of America is a great nation. They are disgruntled. They do not like the president of the United States. And that's 2 totally different things right now. However, I will say this. The first family looked very ravishing. They looked great over there in London. And so I will give kudos to them for all of their attire because they look great.
And you know what? That's a very important, looks are very important, I think, to the British. That being said, what looks, though, Andrea, is it is $240 billion of trade. The UK is our #1 ally in the United States, both economically as well as when it comes to national security. Why do you think, with $240 billion worth of trade on the line here, do you think it will help the president if he walks away with a new trade deal with the UK? Will that make him any more popular in the country, or upon his next visit will we still see these protesters in the streets?
No, it's not going to make him any more popular with Britain because, quite frankly, it's absolutely irrational for them to have any issue with him. Exactly why are these Brits behaving so badly and so brattily? You know, it wasn't Trump that kicked Churchill out of the Oval Office. That was Obama. Exactly what has he done to cause it? And oh, by the way, he does represent the United States of America. That is a man who was elected by 370 electoral votes. So he absolutely, to attack him is to attack the Americans who voted him into office. He's done absolutely nothing to be disrespected in such a manner. And you talk about on the world stage, what exactly has he done? Nobody can answer that. These irrational accusations against him and Trump supporters being called Nazi scum in the streets. Again, let me remind the Brits who saved Britain from Nazism. There's been absolutely nothing about President Trump that supports that kind of defamatory language, and it's absolutely egregious. Imagine if anybody in the United States flew a blimp depicting anybody from the royal family or Margaret Thatcher in such a way. You know, and hat tip to President Trump for being gracious and his family being gracious, as always, in the middle of these attacks.
Well, that's the thing, Dee. What do you think about the Queen actually making this invitation to the first family to come back just a little under a year from his last visit, but this time in a state capacity? Do you think that speaks to a different kind of feeling within the castle rather than what's in the streets?
No, I think she was just being very respectful. And because that's what the royal family is. They're very respectful. They're very polished, professional people, and they know how to put their differences aside. However, I don't know if I would have been that great. Had you called my new granddaughter-in-law nasty, I don't know if I would have conducted myself. The reason why the Brits are conducting themselves the way they are is because he was disrespectful to the Duchess. He's disrespectful to everybody. Let's just call a spade a spade. He is disrespectful. He is rude. He doesn't even know how to talk to Americans, let alone anybody else in the rest of the world. So he is reaping what he has sown. And the sad part about all of this is that the Republicans are allowing him to make a mockery out of this country and our democracy. This is awful. We need to do better than this. America is better than this. And this is why he's getting shamed in the streets all over the world.
Well,
shameful. Just
ultimately,
terrible.
do you think President Trump really is listening to those in the protesters in the streets in the UK, or does he care more probably about the protests that have happened here in the United States?
Neither.
Is that for me?
None.
Yeah, well, there's Dee. What about you, Andrea?
No, I don't think that Trump is concerned at all about the protesters in the street, and there were many people in the street chanting yesterday, hip, hip, hooray, and for he's a jolly good fellow. And there are many Brits, the protesters and the people that were despicable and nasty enough to display those. And let's talk, by the way, just for a quick moment about the hypocrisy of London. This is a city that has thrown how many people into jail because they don't like offensive comments on Facebook, but yet they put that on a blimp about our president. Despicable.
Oh, and that brings up a whole new range of issues, including Julian Assange, which we'll have you both on later to talk about. Thank you so much, ladies.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.